Polar ice caps are dome-shaped sheets of ice found near the North and South poles and are crucial to maintain life as we know it on Earth. The polar caps have permanent ice cover for several reasons. First, the Earth rotates at an angle to the sun. Hence, during winter, the polar regions do not receive sunlight for several days, causing temperatures to drop drastically. In addition, the sun's rays must travel through a greater atmospheric distance to hit the poles than the equator, causing more radiation to be absorbed into the atmosphere. Lastly, ice and snow are good reflectors of solar radiation, especially when the sun is positioned along the horizon. They act like mirrors and reflect the sun's rays back into space instead of absorbing them into the Earth's surface. Unfortunately, average temperatures at the poles have begun to rise in recent years due to changes in the environment, which is causing polar ice caps to melt and break apart. The polar ice caps have melted faster in the last 20 years than in the last 10,000. This has been largely due to human activities in a process called anthropogenic global warming. Imagine the Earth being enveloped in a really, really large terrarium jar where the glass is the atmosphere. Now imagine that we are increasing the amount of carbon dioxide and methane in the jar. These come from industrial activities and natural factors such as combustion of fossil fuels, along with deforestation and animal agriculture. They are known as greenhouse gases as they absorb and re-emit the heat energy from the sun. Since 1750, carbon dioxide levels have increased nearly 38%, and as of 2009, methane levels have increased 148%. The increase of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere may cause a climate tipping point to occur. This means that when a natural system undergoes sudden or overwhelming change, it has a profound effect on surrounding ecosystems that are often irreversible. For instance, when sea ice shrinks, it creates areas of dark ocean that absorb more heat than the reflective ice, which in turn causes further shrinkage, and so on in a spiral. Although the polar ice caps are mostly covered with snow or ice, many small plants, invertebrates, and animals depend on them for food and shelter. Plus, when fresh water flows into the sea, it changes ocean currents and the living conditions for marine organisms. A decrease in salinity causes problems for organisms that are well adapted to very salty oceans. The melting of the polar ice caps is encouraging energy and oil companies to explore areas for resources that are located further north than those they've utilized in the past. Through a process called seismic blasting, a ship shoots air explosions into the sea in order to map the ocean floor. This upsets the entire marine ecosystem, causing trauma and relocation of whales and narwhals that live in the area. In the south, sections of the Great Barrier Reef stretching across hundreds of miles of its most pristine northern sector were killed last year by overheated seawater. Lastly, if all ice in the polar regions were to melt, sea levels would rise about 70 meters, causing the land area above water to shrink significantly. The ocean would cover coastal cities like Tokyo, Jakarta, Shanghai, Mumbai, New York, and Sao Paulo, which are the world's most populated cities. As a result, about 1.4 billion people would be displaced and trillions of dollars would be lost.